Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta with the latest this hour here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Trading resumes today after yesterday's temporary suspension due to Super Typhoon Gaemi and the southwest monsoon. Let's take a look at the Philippine Stock Exchange to see what's going on there. Okay, we're taking a look at the market and we are seeing a sea of red. The PSCI is down by 1.2% to 66.74. All shares index down as well, down by 0.8% to 36.10. The financials, industrial, holding firms, services, mining and oil, property, everybody is down as well. Financials down by 1.4%. Industrial not down by as much, down by 0.3%. Holding firms down by 1%. Services down by 1.4%, mining and oil down by 0.9%, and the property down by 1.2%. Now we're joined on the line by Jaan Agno, the Equity Portfolio Manager of AIA Investment Management and Trust Corporation. Hi Jaan, good morning. Thanks for being here with us.
Good morning, Maiki, and good morning to your viewers.
Jaan, we're seeing a sea of red right now. Can you walk us through investor sentiment right now following Typhoon Gaemi?
Yeah, so as you correctly pointed out, the trading of PSE was suspended yesterday. But on top of that, we are coming off from 2 days where the U.S. equity market is in red territory, last Tuesday and Wednesday, due to selling of big cap names, particularly Tesla was down by 14% the past 2 days, largely because of the earnings that came in lower than a consensus expectation. Plus, the owner actually announced that their robo-taxi event was pushed back to October. So that led to negative sentiment overseas, which flows through the Philippine equity market. And over here, the market is still assessing the impact of Typhoon Gaemi. So far, from what we saw, the impact is around 500 million pesos, combined agriculture and infrastructure damage. If you take a look at the historical super typhoons, I think this one has already surpassed Typhoon Ondoy in terms of the volume of rain. And if you take a look at the damage of Typhoon Ondoy, it went to as much as 11 billion pesos and had 0.4% impact on GDP. So, given the fact that the Philippine market is still up 10% from the lows of last month, it is understandable that market could trigger some profit taking of the people.
So this is going to be a negative, a short-lived negative reaction, you say. Historically, how do natural disasters such as these affect the local economy and the stock market?
Yeah, so this typically causes some negative sentiment towards the market now. But for now, we still have to assess the actual damage brought by the Typhoon Gaemi. So far, the count is around 500 million pesos. But if you take a look at the historical typhoons, it usually drags the market down until some positive catalyst surface. And right now, I think the next catalyst after this typhoon would be earnings, corporate earnings, which will come out in the next few days and weeks.
Okay, let's talk about this in the context of inflation. Natural disasters have a direct impact on production, which leads to scarcity, and it drives commodity prices up. What impact do you think this is going to have on inflation and then the eventual impact on the market?
Right. I guess, we cannot deny the fact that this will definitely have impact on food, which accounts for about 30-40% of the total CPI basket. But one has to note also that, there is a significant price reduction in rice in the offing. the president, signed an executive order to cut the tariffs on rice, no, from 35% to 15%. And based on our estimate, that would bring down the price of rice between 15 to 20%, no? Retail price of rice by 15 to 20%. And, since rice alone accounts for about 9% of the total CPI basket, that would, somehow help relieve, the impact of this typhoon.
Okay, taking a step back, Jaan, we're coming into the ghost month, which is seasonally the weakest time for the market. How do you think equities are going to fare in the near term and towards the year end?
Right. If we, talk about from now until year end, which, is a 5-month horizon, I think the investor will still have a bigger focus on interest rate cuts. No? I think right now market is pricing in 2 to 3 rate cuts in the U.S., which will be supported, no, by continuous decline of inflation numbers. And from what we see, I think the labor market in the U.S. has significantly loosened. The job vacancy to unemployed people ratio from as high as more than 2, it's now below 1.5, no, which is already comparable to pre-pandemic levels. And, U.S. inflation, the last print was June. Headline inflation is 3%. Core inflation is 3.3%. But it's coming off from highs of around 8%. And it is decelerating sustainably. And I would like to emphasize the word sustainably. No? It's slow, but it's at a pace that, where Fed is comfortable enough to start easing policy rates. And here in the Philippines, the BSP has telegraphed that they will be cutting rates by about 50 basis points this year. 25 bips or the commencement of rate cut will be in August with 25 bips.
Okay.
So overall, I think the lower inflation and interest rates should drive the equity prices higher towards the year end. But we also think that it will not be a straight path. We're expecting volatility ahead from now until year end. And the news that will cause volatility includes this one, the typhoon. We also know that the electricity rates has gone higher this month. We're also seeing some incremental price increases in the price of chicken, and of course, the political noise in the U.S. Those will definitely create volatility.
Mm-hmm. So the rate cuts baked into the equation here locally and even with the Fed, which begs the question, how does one reposition their portfolio to benefit from a declining interest rate environment?
Right. So the best way is, accumulate and buy on weakness. Right now, we're looking at, the peacock index ending above 7,000, anchored on 8% earnings growth and PE rating from 10.8 times, 12 times. This is, still one standard deviation below the 5-year average of 14 times and 10-year average of 16 times. So, if you can, somehow capture the market when it's weak, then, there's a good chance that, you can book some gains towards the end of the year.
Okay, and before I let you go, Jaan, just can you share a bit of advice, best stock advice anyone has ever given you, and something to help, investors weather this storm in the market right now?
Sure. I think, I'll give more of a general advice to the viewers. So time in the market is better than, timing the market. There is a MSCI study wherein they created 2 scenarios. They created 2 hypothetical portfolios invested in global equity. One portfolio had a very bad timing, and the other portfolio had a very good timing. Sort of, having a crystal ball and, timing the market very well. And, you'll be surprised to know that the difference between those two hypothetical portfolios, just 3% in annual return. So the message there is, the accurate timing shouldn't be your top priority. Invest whenever you can, and the long-term returns will be risked definitely in the future.
All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts on the market with us, Jaan Agno, Equity Portfolio Manager at AIA Investment Management and Trust Corporation. In other news, Taiwan is now feeling the effects of Typhoon Gaemi. The weather disturbance is known here as Typhoon Gaemi. Now, Gaemi has disrupted many flights at a time when travelers are rushing to leave to avoid the bad weather. Work and school have also been suspended across Taiwan.
Originally, I'm from Puerto Rico, so since we are used to getting tropical storms and hurricanes all throughout the year, every year, and I know that if I don't get out right now, that means I'm going to be stuck in the city for at least 3 to 4 extra days. So I just prefer to get out even if it's more expensive because I'm going to spend that money anyways on staying here.
Japan's Ishigaki Island, which is located in the southwestern portion of the Okinawa prefecture, is also feeling Gaemi's effects. The typhoon has brought heavy rains and strong winds, and residents there have been told to stay indoors. Japan's meteorological agency also warns of possible floods and landslides. Here at home, the Philippine Coast Guard will be holding a press conference today on the tanker that capsized off Limay, Bataan, causing an oil spill. The president has raised concerns on the matter and has asked officials to immediately address it. And that was the latest this hour. I'm Maiki Oreta. Tune in again at 11 for more updates here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.